Hey everyone, it's Trishna and we're going to be doing a pick a card video, a short one, that is about what messages Spirit most wants to share with you right now or what you most need to hear right now. So we have 3 piles. We got pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So take a moment to select the pile that most calls to you and we will get started. All right, pile number 1. Pile number 1, I feel like your energy is really positive. For the most part, I feel like there is some sadness and you're doing your best to not really focus on the sadness, maybe quote unquote bury that sadness down, really not focus on it. I put that in quotes because I think there is a difference between shutting down negative thoughts or sadness and suppressing them. One is when you have a lot of sadness and you're not really resolving it, and it's because you are trying to avoid it. The other is you are making a very conscious choice that you don't want that sadness to be your reality. And so you are putting it to the side and letting it go and choosing when you are ready to up-level your thoughts on that. So one is an avoidance that is more of a reactive mechanism or a protection mechanism, and the other is a very conscious choice to be very cognizant of your thoughts and emotions and what you do and do not want to bring in your life and what cycles you do and do not want to continue. I feel, group number 1, that you are doing the second one, which I do consider to be pretty healthy if you are of the spiritual bent. For others, maybe not so much, but if you do resonate with spirituality, then I do feel like that is a very good approach. So long as you make sure to give yourself self-care when you need it and don't beat yourself up in moments when you're not really able to shut those thoughts down or put them to the side. So, group number 1, I feel like there is a lot of happiness. I do feel like there is sadness, but I do feel like you're doing a very good job of trying to cauterize it, I guess is the word that I'm getting. And I think that is very good. And I feel like Spirit has a message around that, maybe something else that you need to know regarding that. So we are using the Lightseers Tarot. We are using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. We're using the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. And we are using the Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. All right, so group number 1, we have the Wind Fairy, thoughts, words, intellectual analysis. We have the Bee, luck, industriousness, sweet victory. We have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. We have the Page of Cups, the Empress, the Eight of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So group 1 with the Wind Fairy, I do feel like you're doing your best to be at peace with reality as it is, to see the magic and beauty in life wherever you can. So that may be looking at the wind, feeling the breeze, enjoying the moment as much as you can, trying to find peace, trying to appreciate every moment. You know, sometimes when we're at work, let's say, maybe we don't like the job, maybe our colleagues aren't very nice, maybe we're not getting paid what we're worth, but in those moments I feel like you're maybe doing your best to be at peace with that. You know what? Maybe this isn't really the right place for me, but that can change at any moment. This is serving me for now. It's getting me ready for something that's going to pay better, be better. You know, you're making peace with whatever the scenario is. If you feel like your life is really, really boring right now, or maybe you're missing love, you're saying, you know what? It's okay, like boring is good, it's relaxing. I can find my joy and my peace here. If it's about love, it's, you know what, I'm getting ready every day more and more for the right person to come into my life. I'm healing just a little bit more, letting go of old baggage just a little bit more every single day, and I really cherish this time that I have to myself. I would like it to be different. I would like to find that person, but while I'm here, I'm doing my best, Spirit, to understand and to enjoy this moment and to see the blessing for what it is. So I feel like this is a mindset, group 1, that you're really trying to be in. And I feel like that is a very good mindset. I feel like it's going to lead to a lot of results. I feel like if you are looking for that one person, that you are going to find them. It may not necessarily be the next person. For some of you, maybe. I get the number 2 or 3. So for some of you, maybe 2 to 3 people down the road, This is not a bad thing. This does not mean that you are not manifesting what you want or that you are not worthy of what you want. It's just that sometimes we need to go through certain experiences to heal aspects of ourselves that we don't know need healing right now. And other people give us that opportunity, and relationships are this beautiful thing where they do not solve our problems, but rather they highlight our problems even more and allow us to see with more clarity where we are not loving ourselves enough, where we are doubting ourselves, where we allow ourselves to be rejected, or we assume that we're going to get rejected. So you want to make sure that you are really ready for the right person, that you've learned all you need to learn, you have all the right mentalities that you need to have. Not looking for perfection, but just ready for that. So you will find that person. It just may take 2 to 3 more people before that happens. And that is a good thing. Don't let anybody rush you. Your energy is in a good place. Despite the sadness, you are in a good place because you are trying to let go of that sadness and take yourself out of it by focusing on the good with the wind fairy. And when you do that, over time, you will transfer over to where that is how you see the world. And when you feel good in that way, you will bring about the partner that enhances that brings even more of that into your life. If you are looking for better colleagues, or maybe no colleagues at all, I feel that either way, you're going to have better colleagues. So even if you don't want to have other colleagues, you're like, I wish I could just kind of like focus by myself. I do feel like you're probably going to be working with a lot of other people. I don't think that's a bad thing. It may feel that way right now, but I do feel like however it works out, it will work out the way that you want. So maybe you want to have your own business, but you want it to be a more introverted business. Or maybe you work in accounting, or you want to work in accounting where you just do your job, say hi to people, and you go home. You will end up working with a lot of people, but it will work out in the way that you are looking for, your flavor of preference. You may say, I don't have a preference because I don't want it. It's completely a non-preference for me. But it will work out in a way that really supports you, grows you, and enhances you. That makes you feel more alive. So it may be that you end up finding a really good buddy, or you end up working in a really good group of people where everybody just kind of wants to do their job, and then maybe you guys all get lunch together and then you just go back to doing your own job. So you're working with a lot of people, you're having lunch with a lot of people, but it's in a way that really supports you, where they might be just like you. And so you guys have a better understanding. So it will work out in a very nice way. Share your voice. So you may be having a bit of a dilemma with this feeling happy, but also feeling sad and trying to cauterize it, where it's like, shouldn't I be sharing my feelings in my voice? That is very situational. I think we're at a point in our society where we talk a lot about how we should feel all of our feelings and we should be able to express them and not hide ourselves. And I agree with a lot of that, but the more you share about your feelings, whether it's with yourself or with another, the more that you are practicing that vibration and that thought pattern. So if you are not feeling better after sharing, then it's not really serving you. If you're feeling the same or worse, then it is actually maybe harming you. Now, some of this should be taken in the right context. For example, if any of you are in therapy, sometimes these kinds of conversations don't feel good immediately after. Maybe they take a few sessions before that happens. Doesn't mean that therapy is bad, right? So give it the time length that makes sense. But if it's been like 5 weeks and you're not feeling better, then maybe change your course of action. But for certain things, it may take a little bit longer. But essentially, you want to make sure that you are feeling better if you're going to be sharing your voice. If you're not feeling better, as a general rule, cauterize that too, right? And process that with yourself. All right. Page of Cups, whatever wishes you have will come. I feel like right now they are coming a little bit more slowly than you would like. And that is because you are still in sadness. You are cauterizing it. There will be a time period where you're cauterizing, right? And so things aren't going to be like snap, 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 here you go. But over a period of about 4 weeks to 8 weeks, I think you will find that around that time period, 4 to 8 weeks, things will start materializing for you. Things will start showing up because of the work that you've been doing between now and 4 to 8 weeks. So give it the time that it needs, but results are going to show up. The Empress. So there may be something new that you're going to be creating. I feel like a lot of you know what that is. You have a desire for something that you want to create. I think it's the right approach in the right direction. For some of you, there may be a slight tweak, but it will be ultimately what you're thinking of right now for the most part. Don't rush into anything. Let the next step unfold for you. Don't try to figure out the next step yourself. Okay, the next step will unfold for you. And if you do this, if you honor the time that is needed, things will happen quickly. Things happen slowly when we become impatient, because when we're impatient, that means that we are in an energy of impatience, and so we will get more reasons to become impatient. The moment that we let go of the impatience is when things start happening fast, 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 because we're not impatient anymore. So things can move very quickly, but I will say with the Empress, make sure that you're giving things a due time. Just because you think certain things should happen now does not necessarily mean that they should happen now. You wouldn't necessarily want to meet your life partner, for example, when you're 13 with a pimply face, with braces on, and you are dealing with your teenage puberty hormonal issues, right? Because if you met them, you might not like them if they're dealing with the same things. Like, you're like, gosh, this person's always like angry. They might not like you because they'd be like, gosh, this person's always angry, right? So you want to meet, some people meet their high school sweetheart. All good for that. But as an example, just because you might want something in a particular point in time or now does not necessarily mean that it is the optimal time. We think with our logical mind that we know what the optimal time for everything is. That is the hang up of the ego. Love the ego, protects us, supports us, nothing wrong with it, allows us to know the things that we want and the things that we don't want. But when it comes to timing and when it comes to how or what the next step is, not always the best aspect of ourselves to rely on. If you follow all this, Queen of Pentacles, you will have the success that you're looking for, whether it is in love, abundance, work lifestyle. So, group number 1, that is what Spirit wanted to share with you. So now we're going to be moving on to group number 2. All right, group number 2. It is time for your reading. Here we go. All right, so group number 2. I feel a lot of happiness, joy, excitement. I want to say a little bit of anxiousness, but it's really not too much. It's kind of like when you know that you're going to go see a show that you really like, or a movie that you really like, or I don't know why I'm getting like medieval times. Right, you're going to an interesting experience in this example, and so there is this excited anticipation. So that's kind of what it feels like to me, is what the energy feels like. So I wonder if there's something that is coming up for you, or that you're thinking about or planning. Maybe it's a trip, maybe it's a new goal, maybe it's a new job, something that's coming up on the horizon that you're thinking about or already is planned that you are excited about. And I feel like you have a question on your mind, which is, how do I make sure that this experience is as good as I want it to be? I'm excited about it, but what do I need to do to make it good? Right? If it's a trip, let's say with a loved one, what do I need to do to make sure that we're getting along, that we're having a good time every single day, right? And the message that wants to come through around that question is, when you ask that kind of question, it's good, it's helpful, right? Like, we want to think about things critically, but you're also asking about it with this energy of, I have to make sure that everything goes according to a specific plan that I want. That plan may not be external, like, okay, I want to make sure that we do this on this day, and this on this day, and this on this day. It may not even be about that, but emotionally, an emotional plan that I have. I need to make sure that that person is in a good mood every day. I need to make sure that I'm in a good mood every day. I need to make sure that Spirit gives me all the actions I need to take each day to ensure that. So there's a lot of trying to control a scenario that hasn't even happened yet, but trying to control, trying to force the energy, trying to mold it to specifically what you want. Now, that kind of energy is going to basically ensure that you don't have the best time on the trip. Why? Because when you're doing that, you're not in the now moment. When you're in the now moment, that's when you really enjoy the moment, because you're there, you're present. You're feeling the feels, and you're tasting the foods, and you're enjoying the sights. But when you have this aspect of you of, I'm enjoying the sights, is this person having a good time? Do I need to do something? I was supposed to do this action at this particular time, but I didn't do it or I couldn't do it. When you have that in the background, you're not fully in the moment. And I know with law of attraction and spiritual work, there is a lot of shaping your reality. That's the whole point, isn't it? But we don't do it alone. And so you may think, yeah, but that's why I'm asking Spirit. I'm asking Spirit, right? Spirit, tell me, I go do. Yes, but a lot of that effort is on you. The effort to do your vibration, to ask the question, to receive the answers, and then to act on the answers. You're taking a bulk of the work when that's not really balanced out. In a team project, isn't it annoying when you take on the bulk of the work? Don't you feel like you didn't contribute enough if someone else took the bulk of the work? More balance is required. So what that means is, right now you feel excited about this new thing. Awesome. That means it's probably going to be really good. Provided that you keep up that excitement and don't overthink the details. And if you decide that no matter what happens, whether there's a kink in our plans, or I'm in a bad mood one morning, or the person that I'm going with is in a bad mood one evening, if you decide that regardless of whether any of that happens, we're going to have a good time. And that even if any of that happens, it does not mean a failure. It just means that we're human. If you decide those things, you're going to have a great time. Because you're not going to put so much emphasis on whether they're having a good time one evening or whether you're not having a good time one morning. You're going to be like, oh, they're not having a good time. That's okay. Let's just change it. Let's do something different. Versus, oh, this happened because I didn't do XYZ actions from Spirit. Or, oh, I needed to talk to Spirit about it. Right? Be in the moment and change it up in the moment. So that takes away the pressure of needing every moment to be amazing, because you're okay if it's not amazing. You can do something different. You're a human. You know these things now. There's something else I want to come through. Another point to that. Oh yeah. And then if you're assuming that no matter what happens, argument or not, great time or not, in each moment, that you're going to have a great trip, then there are going to be plenty of moments throughout the trip that are going to feel really good, or throughout the event, or whatever it is in this example for you. And when you can hang on, when you know that, you can hang on to those good moments, and you can maximize those moments and be in the moment on those moments and make those moments the memories. And when you make those moments the memories, everything in life starts to get better, because your memories are always of, I don't know why this fight is happening, but I do know that in some way it's serving me and it's serving the other person. Or I don't know why the cotton candy at this event that I really wanted to have isn't there, but I do know that in some way it's serving me, and that I will get the cotton candy of my dreams whenever I want it in the right time, or like whenever the right time happens. There will be another opportunity and even be even better than this. But right now, for some reason, it wasn't the best thing for me, and I'm cool with that because everything's working out for me. All right, time for the cards. Woo. Knocked one over. Okay, so I didn't mention this in the intro, so I'm going to mention it for each of the groups. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. I'm using the Wisdom of the Avalon Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. I'm using Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell, and I'm using the Rider-Waite Tarot. Let's look at what the cards have to share with you today. All right, we're going to start right here with the intense energies, the 10 of Swords, which generally represents that there is an aspect of you that is dying and you're letting that go, or often it represents that someone has literally stabbed you in the back. You have been betrayed in some way. Now, I feel that this represents two things. I feel like it represents somebody who maybe did stab you in the back, but it would have been a long time ago. So I think either the person was female or the same gender as you identify with. But it feels like it's something that was long gone, and so you don't really think about it that much, and maybe even look at it with humor, or maybe even see their side of it now. So I think that's part of what it represents. I think the other part is, are things not going to work out? Is the universe going to stab me in the back? If I get too excited and too happy, is the universe going to put me in my place and be like, no, human, you don't get to be this happy. You were happy, and I had to reset your expectations. And the answer is no, the universe doesn't do that. The universe is very intelligent, but it operates off of very, very simple rules. Whatever you put out there is what you're going to get. It's not you get what you want, it's you get what you put out there. So, if you are excited but fear getting backstabbed by the universe, you're probably going to get a mix of that. It's probably going to be like you go to this event and they have all the snacks you want except for one. Really not a big deal, but you might be like, oh, that's the one that I wanted the most. I got too excited. And I'm using very small examples because that's just what's coming through, but apply this however it resonates for you. And then you focus on that one thing that didn't happen or work out when everything else did happen. So what is the energy that you're going in with? What are you expecting? What are you asking for, and why are you asking for it? Why are you asking the universe to not stab you in the back? Because you fear that the universe is going to stab you in the back. So instead say, hey universe, I know you're here to support me, and I'm happy to be supported. Let's go. Then there's no more of that angst in the energy. You just take the moments as they come. I think there may be too much pre-planning going on here, group number 2. I think that's kind of the theme of this message here. All right, if there is another person on a trip or just in general, look at that beautiful union, right? 2 of Cups. So there's your answer. You will have a good time. But with the moon here, you're going to have to, let go of the angst, let go of the worry. It's kind of like you got to combine the moon with the Ace of Swords here, right? The Ace of Swords in this depiction is very much about thinking thoughts. What thoughts are you putting out in the universe? It's not what you want that you get, it's what you put out there, like I said. So what are you putting out there mentally and emotionally? When you figure this out, which really is about the 10 of Swords, this is what you're putting out there. When you figure this out, then you can change it and you can put something else out there emotionally and mentally that will then serve you and get the results that you were looking for. Right? 2 of Cups is also about union between the self and the universe. Yeah, I think I was talking about how much work are you putting into this group 2? Is it equal? Is it a partnership? Or are you trying to take the lead and taking away the joy from the other person, or the experience from the other person, which is the universe? Co-creation. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Isn't that what I just said? That's what this whole thing is about. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? If you knew that no matter what happens in this event, that you are supported, whether things go exactly how you want or not, whether there are hiccups or not. If there are hiccups, it's okay. It's my path. I am supported in this. Things are going really awesome. Awesome. That's my path. I am being supported. We have the butterfly and the dragon. Power and strength. Are you trying to do a power struggle with the universe, group 2? Are you trying to be the big bad dragon in this example? That is not focusing. By the way, I don't see dragons as big and bad because I love dragons. Actually, in fact, I just got a new deck called the Garden Dragons, the Field Guide. which is super cute and awesome, and maybe I'll do a deck review of it. But in this example group 2, are you trying to force things? Are you trying to strong arm the universe, situations, other people? Or are you co-creating with them? Are you allowing them to be them? Are you allowing them to have breathing room to maybe not enjoy a moment and know that that's not your responsibility? It's okay if that's how they feel. It's not your fault. You can help them out, but you don't need to take on the burden. You can help someone without taking on the burden. And are you enjoying the beauty enough with the butterfly here? Of the universe, of flow. Look at this. This love is flowing. These thoughts are flowing. Are you flowing? Are you enjoying, or are you trying to control a scenario too much? So, group number 2. Good things are in store for you. Your energy is in a very good place. Don't get hung up on the details. Enjoy yourself, have fun. Don't take anything too seriously. Things don't work out exactly as you want. It's okay. It's normal. It's human. And you can always do something about it in the moment. And no matter what happens, if you know that everything is working out for you, if you know that you're always supported, you will always find that you are supported. All right. Group number 3. Let's get into your reading. Group number 3, I feel a lot of excitement. I feel a lot of enthusiasm. I feel like you are very mentally clear or doing a lot of mental thinking, planning. I feel like you feel very capable right now, or you're trying to become more capable, but your energy feels like it's in a very good place. I feel a sense of clarity and pristine. I get the word pristine. I think your energy is in a very pristine place. The message that the universe wants to share with you, or spirit wants to share with you, is if this is, for example, a new project, a lot of times when we have a new idea, this inspired idea, the plan starts to come together, we have a lot of really good energy and things work out early on. But then we lose momentum with our project. We don't always carry it to the finish, or maybe something happens and it distracts us, or maybe it makes us doubt whether we can do this, and then we drop those projects until we're ready for a new project. And so the universe wants to say that none of those old projects that failed really failed or needed to fail. That the energy that you embody right now, this clarity, this pristineness, this movement forward, this enthusiasm, if you can keep this energy alive throughout the entire project, or throughout whatever it is that you're trying to achieve right now. This could be a relationship. Relationships are not projects, but if you're feeling the love right now, or you're really interested in someone new, and maybe you felt this feeling before and it's fizzled out in the past, or maybe you're starting a new job and everything was really great and people were really nice, and then that fizzled out and everything went to shit. Whatever the scenario is, you can keep that original joy alive, but it takes work. A lot of people think that energy work is the easy way out. It's not. It requires constant management, I get the word vigilance. Don't think that's really the right word for this context, but it's the word that wants to come through for you. But constant management, constant vigilance, constant self-assessment, constant having to trust the inner world over the very, very alluring external world. But if you can do that, you will get to the finish line that you truly desire. Now, I say that like that because you may have an idea of where you want to be. You may have an idea of where you want this particular relationship to go. Maybe you want it to hit some form of finish line. Or you may have an idea that you want to be in this job and move up in that company or stay in this area. That may be what you think right now. That is okay. Keep working on that. Keep that enthusiasm alive. But just know that for some of you, you may end up exactly where you had hoped if you keep the energy alive. But for others of you, if you keep the energy alive, you may end up somewhere very different, but that fulfills you like no other. And I think most of you will be on that path. Either way, you will be fulfilled. But you must keep that sense of fulfillment alive throughout. Not just now in the beginning when it's easy and you don't have the details of what people are actually like. You're not having to compromise in a relationship just yet, right? You're in the easy phase. That's okay. Good. Embrace the easy phase, but remember the easy phase and carry that energy with you throughout. You're at work, a few months down the line, a colleague's rude to you. It bothers you, but you ignore it. Don't ignore it. Decide, you know what? This person's annoying me, but I can see their side, or but I really appreciate these other aspects of them. And I'm excited to work with them so I can see more of those aspects that I like. You're keeping that enthusiasm alive because you're remembering the best parts of them. Just like in the beginning, you remember the best parts, or you notice the best parts of people or the job or the project. Okay? So keep it alive and you'll be very, very fulfilled during the process and at the end. All right. And this message about possibly being taken in a different direction, that is okay. That does not mean that you failed. I think sometimes we get so hung up. We get so hung up on, I wanted this specific manifestation in this specific way. And then when it doesn't happen, we could be very happy somewhere else, but we're like, but I failed there. I was supposed to get that. Why didn't I get that? I failed. My manifestation didn't happen. But you're happy and fulfilled. That's ultimately what you wanted the entire time. And maybe the universe was like, you know what? This human right here, Trishna, let's say, if Trishna was here, God, she'd probably really hate it. I know she thinks that she would want it, but if she were actually there, she wouldn't really like it that much. She'd love this, and so we're going to put her here. This is what she really wants. So, as long as you were happy and fulfilled in getting an equivalent manifestation. So this is not to say that, okay, I dreamed really big here, but I don't get that. I get something less. You don't get anything less. You never get anything less. So long as you keep that energy good and pure, right? You get something different, but either of equal value to you or better. Puppies. Sorry. So, hey Harvey. Give him just a moment here. So, I think I've given this example before, but let's say there's somebody that really, really, really wanted to be an actor. And the reasons why they wanted to be an actor were to be able to express themselves or to awaken people by having them learn about a character and maybe their hardships and struggles, but also get inspiration from that. And maybe they also wanted fame, right? So these are different aspects of what they were looking for, the essence of that desire. And maybe they went out about it, but it didn't quite work out, okay? And instead, they ended up becoming a big public speaker. Now, if they were to evaluate that and be like, yeah, but really this is what I wanted, just on that surface package level, yeah, they'd be like, yeah, I didn't get my manifestation. But if you were to look at the actual essence, being that big public speaker gave them the opportunity to get the fame that they wanted, to be able to inspire other people, to be able to express themselves, to be able to even have some acting skills, right? In a presentation, you're putting on a persona and energy to get points across. And sometimes you might even be explaining a scenario and there could be some acting involved there too, right? So you're getting to express yourself. You're getting to use, a lot of presenters go to acting school or courses to hone their presentation skills. So you get to use a lot of those skills. And you would get to do it in a way that probably gives you a lot of liberty, because maybe another thing that you want that you didn't equate into the acting model is that you really wanted the freedom to express yourself the way that you want. And if you were to go the acting route, you don't always get that. Maybe you have an idea of how a scene should be, and you share it with the director, and they're like, nah, I don't think so. I think you need to do it this way. And so there's a lot of freedom there, but there's a lot of restriction. And there's restriction on schedules and calendars. And there is a sense of yeah, like, right? Like you don't completely get to express yourself. And there's only certain roles that maybe you fit into or get into, right? Versus as a presenter, you get to pick your topic for the most part. You get to pick how you deliver that topic. Obviously later down the line, earlier along the line, maybe you don't get as much of that freedom, but later down the line you do, right? So what looks like a failure actually gives the person so much more of what that person actually really wanted. They get all the things plus all the other things that they wanted that they didn't even realize they wanted or didn't even think about that much. So don't get too hung up on how the things materialize. Get hung up on, is this giving me the feelings that I want to experience in this lifetime? And get hung up on, is this as big as what I was aiming for? It doesn't matter if it's different, but you should be getting as big of results as what you're looking for. Okay, let's get into the cards. So I am using the Work Your Light Oracle card deck by Rebecca Campbell, the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, the Rider Waite Tarot, and also the Wisdom of the Avalon Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. All right. Okay. The Age of Light, you've been training for this for lifetimes. Okay, group number 3, what's that about? Is there some divine mission that you are headed towards? Some desire within you that you really want and that you know your soul is calling you towards? Is everything I just talked about not relevant because you're like, no, but I know specifically what the package is going to be. Like, it's from my soul. If so, good for you. Know that some of the specifics may change, right? What is the saying? If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? So don't get too hung up on the specifics. But if a desire is coming from your soul, if it's coming from inside, then it will probably look very, very closely to what you have in your mind's eye. If it's something that's coming more from the external, that's okay, because it's still a soul desire and it's still a worthy desire and it's still something that you absolutely can have. The end result just may look a little bit different because you're looking at it from the external and kind of forgetting about the internal essence of what you really want. But when it comes from the inside, it's coming from the essence first, and out of that essence flowers the physical way it will look. But if you look at the physical way that it will look, there is an essence there, and that's what your soul is really looking for. So then your soul will look for the right physical version to come out of it. Okay. Let's see. So we have the Two of Swords, we have the Earth Fairy, we have the Deer, we have the Knight of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Seven of Wands. So group number 3, the Seven of Wands is also giving me the sense of really connecting with the soul and the inner world and allowing that to blossom out. And I think that will help you with any indecision that you currently have or have had in the past. I don't feel like this is future energy, but if it is, then come back to your center and allow your center to dictate what the decision should be, not necessarily the other way around. If you have a decision that you really want and you're not sure if it's the right one, then go with that decision. Trust yourself and it, and you will be redirected if you need to. Earth Fairy, yeah, like this is also about grounding. So a lot of this message is about coming to your center. I think that all of this kind of ties into what I was saying before about really understanding the core of what you want, not just the external side of things. The core of what you want will be fulfilled, but make sure that you hold on to that core, you hold on to that groundedness, you hold on to that inner self, you hold on to this path that you are on. And if you hold on to that and you hold on to that enthusiasm, that fulfillment, you will get the results that you're looking for. Knight of Pentacles, look, everywhere he goes, he's dropping seeds. He's dropping pentacles. Everywhere he goes, he is embodying that fulfillment energy. And so look how calmly he's walking. Sorry, it's really not focusing. Look how calmly he's walking. He knows where he's going, not stressed, chill. The Deer, I feel like this is basically saying that in the past, maybe you have felt like you're not really in control of your reality or your life. And maybe some of what we just talked about feels like that's still the case. Okay, Trishna's saying someone wants to be an actor, but then they don't get to be that. Then they have to have some sub version of that, some second best version of that as a presenter. So that is kind of a very drastic example. You could still be that actor, but it may just come in a different form again than you were thinking of. And if you were to be the actor, like you may even decide that on your own, like you become an actor and then you're like, you know what, I'm really not a morning person. It does not work with me. I'm a dolphin sleeping pattern, whatever, wolf sleeping pattern. And they want me to wake up at 3 a.m. for makeup. And then, I'm on these sets and then I feel like I'm just being told what to do all the time. Like there probably will be something if there is such a drastic change, there will be something along the way that makes you realize that the thing that you've been after isn't really what you want. It won't be this like strange surprise, or it doesn't have to be, so long as you keep that fulfillment feeling alive, because that's really what you're looking for. So you are in control of a lot, but it's really creative control. You don't always get to decide the how or the package, but you get to decide how happy you're going to be. Temperance. I feel like this is also saying stay very balanced, right? Stay in that fulfillment, enthusiasm, energy throughout the process and just watch the magic happen. And remember, it's not easy. It's not going to be something you can feel every day. It's not going to be something you want to do every day. If someone's being a jerk, you don't necessarily want to be like, yeah, they're being a jerk, but like, I really appreciate them for all these reasons, right? Sometimes you want to be like, no, they're being a jerk and I want to be justified in that. And that's okay. Some days you're going to be like that. But if overall you're keeping the momentum alive, yeah, you're going to find yourself in places that maybe you had never imagined before. Worlds better than you could think of right now. So, group number 3, that was your reading. I hope that it served you. I hope all the readings served everybody, and I will catch you guys in the next one.